Hello, welcome. This is Professor Tennyson Mokuchini. I am the Executive Dean of the College of Graduate Studies. Welcome to getting to know about us. I will, of course, walk you through some of the often asked questions about who we are, what we're here for. And as I do that, I will take my face off the screen for a while just to speak you through some of the key things about us. Once again, welcome to the College of Graduate Studies. Who are we? We are one of UNISA's colleges, and we are distinct from the others by virtue of being a service college. We serve as a leader of excellence in postgraduate studies and research, and our job is to make sure that excellence in research and all matters related to research is mainstreamed across all the colleges at UNISA. We are the hub for institutional support to all our postgraduate students and all the staff members who assist them. As a college, we make sure that we offer support to our students at academics so that they make optimal use of the open distance e-learning mode of delivery that UNISA is famed for. Of course, when we help our students, we help you from the start of your journey as a postgraduate student all the way to your graduation. And our priorities are very easily spelled out, and they straddle across two specific areas. Firstly, we provide a central hub for our honors, postgraduate diploma, master's and doctoral students within UNISA to enhance excellence in and accelerate the completion of their postgraduate qualifications. We also offer supervisory capacity development for all our supervisors that the university has. One of our main priorities is to ensure an exceptional postgraduate experience for our students by offering wide-ranging postgraduate administrative support interventions. And of course, one of the things we are known for and have been tasked with is to make sure that we optimize the university's catalytic niche areas. These niche areas are 10 areas of science that have been specifically identified by our Vice Chancellor as areas that we need to give priority to. The niche areas include marine studies, aviation and aeronautical studies, automotive sciences, energy, space study and the square kilometer array, the fourth industrial revolution and digitalization, the natural sciences, health studies, medicine, feminist, womanist, Bursary theorizations, and of course, student support and co-curricular activities. One will wonder why these areas. The reasons are simple. Firstly, we've identified areas that have very significant potential to make quite substantial changes to society as we know it. Take, for example, health studies and medicine. Our primal objective is to ensure that we are at the cutting edge of research around health studies and medicine so we can deal with any challenges that society has to deal with. Of course, the other reason that we exist or support the catalytic niche areas is to ensure that previously overlooked subject fields finally get to be mainstreamed. So previously marginalized groups have access to this. And finally, these catalytic niche areas are historically areas that have very substantive funding that goes towards them, and we get a chance to actually make sure that we give access to our students so that they too can in turn have access to the many financial resources and grants that are available in these fields. What programs does the College of Graduate Studies offer? As I've said, our job, our primary focus is to ensure that we capacitate our students. We'll also capacitate everybody who supports them in their journey. With respect to supporting and capacitating our students, we have a wide range of short-term workshops, seminars, and lectures that we deliver. And these speak to all the challenges that students have throughout their study journey. If you are interested in something more substantive, we have a flagship program called the Accelerated Honors, Masters, and Doctoral Support Program. This is a state-of-the-art, one only in the world type of program that supports students 365 days of the year through a mixture of lectures, seminars, workshops, which you can access anytime, anywhere, and at your convenience. And of course, the program does more than just share content with you. We also avail academics, world-leading academics who offer you guidance in addition to the support you would have received from your supervisor. And then, of course, we also have a primary objective of supporting our academics. And to do that, we have another state-of-the-art flagship program called the Supervisory Capacity Development Program. This is a 4-month-long program that trains our supervisors in all the different pedagogical skills, all the skills to do with providing exceptional learner support, all the skills that ensure that they have advanced awareness of research methodologies. All those are taught to our 2,300 supervisors that the university has on their books. And of course, that program is certificated. So when you complete it, essentially those who complete it have as close to a driver's license to supervision as possible. Those are just two of our offerings that we have. Beyond that, we have a lot of other courses to do with very difficult areas that students struggle with, from statistical analysis to grant writing or even writing for publication. Now that I've marketed us so well, I know your next question is, how on earth do we find this College of Graduate Studies? Essentially, we are everywhere. And these are some of the spaces that you can find us on. You will know that we have a very, very vibrant presence on our social media. You can, of course, visit us on our Facebook groups, or we have a Twitter handle, which you can see. We have a Facebook page, and of course, we have much of our content is available on YouTube. And if you're at all interested in accessing this, take a moment to scan the QR code on the right upper hand of your screen, and that will open your access to a world of support, to a world of excellence that's provided by the College of Graduate Studies. I thank you very much for paying attention to this, and I look forward to seeing you on any one of our platforms.
Good day. My name is Tembega Chikudo from Postgraduate Administration Department at Honors and Postgraduate Diploma Studies. I will be taking you through the application process and registration process from the Honors and Postgraduate Diploma Studies. Let me first switch off the camera to start the presentation. Okay. The topics to be covered are as follows. I'm going to briefly start with application dates and then touch on online application process, followed by online registration process, cancellations during registrations, deferments during registrations, as well as applying for exemptions during registrations. And lastly, I will provide you with the contact details for all colleges. The application dates for 2025. Our application period started on the 21st of August 2024, and they will be ending the 11th of October 2024. With the exception of the postgraduate diploma in applied psychometry, which closes earlier than the ending of the application period, and it will be closing on the 2nd of October. So please take note of those 2 dates, especially if you will be applying for the postgraduate diploma in applied psychometry. Students who will be applying for this postgraduate diploma in psychometry must complete an online questionnaire as part of the application. In other words, if you do not submit the questionnaire, your application will be declined, because that is the important document that the Department of Psychology is looking for. The application process at UNISA starts as follows. All our honors and postgraduate diploma students may apply strictly online. Applicants will be welcomed at UNISA's regional offices, but made aware that the processes are only online. Applications will be evaluated according to the approved admission requirements. The successful applicants will be given an opportunity to either accept or decline the offer for admission within 10 calendar days. Please take note of that duration of accepting or declining the offer provided to you. The outcome of the application will be sent to the MyLife email address if you are a returning student at UNISA, or personal email address if it is your first time applying at UNISA. Unsuccessful applicants will be given an opportunity to appeal the outcome in some of the qualifications. You will be given 10 calendar days after receiving the outcome of your application. You are also going to be given an opportunity to appeal your application. You must please follow this link. It's for Apply for Admission to Study application tool. Once you have clicked on this link, you will see the appeals button. All what you need to do is to follow the steps provided in order to submit your appeal application. These appeals are administered by the CGS Postgraduate Administration Department for various colleges, and also referred to the various academic departments for further recommendations. You must also follow the link, this link below, to access email addresses. The link lists all the email addresses for colleges, starting from the College of Accounting Science up to the Science College. I will be giving you the list of the email addresses at the end of the presentation so that you know exactly which email address to use for your college. The outcome of the appeal is subject to the availability of the spaces. Please take note of that. I will now briefly touch on registration. The registration process will only commence after the application period has been closed and finalized. It is normally starting January each academic year, so please take note of that. The registration dates will be announced on the university's website once the application phase has been finalized. Our applications are strictly online. All our honors and postgraduate diploma studies have 120 NQF credits, and students are allowed to complete within 4 years. During the registration process, students are allowed to defer their studies at the beginning of each academic year before they register. And the closing date for such deferment is the 28th of February each academic year. Please take note of that. There are two important notes to take in from this statement. You only defer before you can register. And the closing date for the deferments for the year module, 28 February each academic year. During the registration phase, students can apply for exemptions. Exemptions of modules passed from other institutions of higher learning. And this is the link provided that you will utilize when you apply for exemptions. And that is normally during the registration period. Students, again, during registration, who voluntarily canceled their registration, they will forfeit either a part or the entire fee paid. That will depend on the time where you will be requesting your cancellation. The rules will guide you. The rules are available. You need to familiarize yourselves. They are available online. This is the link for the rules. Please familiarize yourself with the rules when you do the cancellation. I am now giving you the contact details of honors and postgraduate studies. Email your inquiry to the relevant college below and capture your student number on the subject line. Please take note. Do not copy other email addresses when you send your inquiry. Otherwise, your inquiry will be delayed. As I have indicated there, this is the list of the email addresses. For example, if you were admitted from the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, scienceons@unisa.ac.za will be your email address. And please do not forget to add your student number on the subject line. This is also the list of other colleges. Please use the email address as per the college you are currently registered at. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you for joining in and thank you for listening to the presentation. Thank you.
Good day. It's Eleanor Swanepoel here. I'm taking you through the Master's and Doctoral application processes for 2025. I am the Deputy Director or Acting Deputy Director in the College of Graduate Studies and specifically looking at postgrad administration. I'm going to stop my camera and then I'm going to move on to the presentation. Thank you so much. I want to take you through the process to say, when do you need to apply for admission for master's or doctoral studies at UNISA? Applications have already opened and it will close on the 22nd of November 2024. There are exceptions, and this list is available on the M&D website. There are qualifications that are specifically open until 30 June of 2025. We really ask that you try and apply during the normal application period to ensure that you have a proper time for your studies for the year. Any inquiries for masters and doctors, you are welcome to send an email to the email address m&d@unisa.ac.za. Please note that M&D is not a person. It is an email box where all the colleagues in the department will have access to and assist you with your inquiry. There are two types of master's qualifications offered by UNISA. We have the coursework masters, where the curriculum comprises 4 modules. Those are either portfolios or online examinations, a research proposal module, which is compulsory to be passed before you can register for the mini dissertation. You must pass at least 2 modules before you may register for the research proposal module. For the master's qualification, you have 3 years to complete the qualification, and we understand that life happens. So if you need an additional year, you're welcome to apply with your supervisor for an additional year of study. We also then offer a research master's degree where the curriculum comprises a dissertation on an approved topic, and in your first year of study, you will also do a research proposal. You may complete your master's degree in 1 academic year. We also have for this master's in research 3 years to complete, and also the option to request for 1 further year of study should you need it. Doctoral qualifications, we have a thesis with an oral examination, also called the viva voce, and 2 manuscripts. The thesis incorporates a research proposal that you will do in your first year of study. You may also, once you are registered, discuss with your supervisor to do a doctoral degree by publication. It will also, for that curriculum, you will also have an oral examination, the viva voce, and 2 manuscripts that you need to submit. Please note that for the doctoral degree by publication, there are guidelines around that and how it works to explain to you what that specific curriculum involves. For a doctoral degree, you have 6 years to complete the qualification, and no, you also have 1 additional year should you need that for a specific reason. You must be registered for 2 academic years before you may submit for examination. Now I want to specifically talk to our international students. If you've studied at a university outside of the borders of South Africa, and you now want to come and study with UNISA to further your qualifications, you need to visit SAQA, and that is the South African Qualifications Authority, where you have to have your qualifications evaluated. You have to submit your qualifications at SAQA, pay their fee, and then you are also welcome to only have the qualification that will give you admission to this qualification that you want to apply for. Or you can opt to have all your qualifications evaluated. It will all depend on your special needs that you want to do that. You will be requested to provide the SAQA reference number when you make your application for admission at UNISA, and also, if you've already have a SAQA certificate of evaluation, you will be required to capture the information when you make your online application. From 2025, we will be able to extract this data. So students that applied at SAQA and have not received feedback, we will make automatic follow-ups with SAQA on your behalf to check on the process of that application. Please note that if your application is approved, you may register, but you must submit your SAQA certificate of evaluation before you will be allowed to re-register for the next academic year. I want to also explain NQF levels. If SAQA evaluated your qualification on an NQF level 8, That means that you may apply at UNISA for a master's degree that is on level 9. If your SAQA evaluation came out on a 7, you cannot apply for a master's degree. You have to apply for an honors or a postgraduate diploma. It is important to take note of these, as these are the guiding criteria to be admitted and to stay registered in that qualification. What to do before you apply? We do a lot of work to ensure that you have all the information you need before you make an application. Please go to the application platform, select masters and doctors, and then you will come to this specific frame where you can see on the left-hand side, we indicate to you what is new for 2025. It's important that you take note. Maybe last year you applied, you were not successful, and now something has changed. So please take a look at that. We provide you with research focus areas for each of the qualifications. We provide you with information on our amazing academic research support that we give to our students. Some of these training videos are available also to our students that are not registered. So please go and have a look at them. And then we have a list of all the qualifications on offer at UNISA. Then apply for student number and apply for admission. And I'll explain the process to you. We have information specifically for our international students. We have a link to upload your supporting documents. We have information on payment methods and banking details. And we also have application approval and track your application. Information about recognition of prior learning. We talk about plagiarism, what that means and what you need to know about it. We provide you with all the policies and procedures and forms that you need to ensure that you understand what you are going into when you apply at UNISA. We in advance tell you about how does the research examination process works. Please have a look at the FAQs that are there. It's on applications, registrations, exemptions, deferments, anything that is related to masters and doctors, you will get in on this website pages. Then we also have UNISA's 10 catalytic niche areas, and you will see that we've incorporated them under each of the qualification pages. The idea is that you have a look at these catalytic niche areas together with the research focus areas and decide in what way can you incorporate any of these catalytic niche areas into your research. And please, once you are accepted into the program, also discuss this with your appointed supervisor. Important to know, what do you need to do before you apply? Maybe you think, oh, I'm duplicating. No, I'm not. You now read the UNISA website. Now you find your qualification of choice. Important to know, if you majored in history as an example, and you did your master's degree in history, and now you decide to change, but I rather want to do development studies, and you apply for the PhD in development studies, you will not be admitted because you do not meet the admission requirements. So please take note, whatever your specialization is for your honors program or for your master's, that would be typically the same discipline that you will continue in. We provide you with research focus areas, as I've mentioned, the 10 catalytic niche areas, and there's also a guideline on how to prepare the research outline. We've added it to the research focus areas page as well as the qualification page. Very, very important is to prepare your research outline in line with one of the research focus areas. We've seen so many students do a research outline and submit it, and then the academic department will inform us, but this does not align with any of the research focus areas that we have available, and then your application will be declined. So please take note of this very important issue. And then a research outline is not required for coursework LLMs, MBA, MBL, or the coursework MCOM in industrial psychology. The research outline document Do not confuse it with a research proposal. The research outline is a few pages just showing and telling us what you want to do your research in, what kind of research methodology you are going to use, but that guideline document, please, it's not a template for you to complete. You read through that guideline document so that you can submit your research outline in a form as if it's an essay that you are submitting. And then take note, if you're applying in CSET, that's the College Science, Engineering and Technology, and KS, that is Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, they have special departmental questionnaires that forms part of their research focus areas. These have to be uploaded with your documents. And then CSET applicants, please take note. You have to contact the department before you apply. You will contact a supervisor from the list that's provided in the research focus area. So you will find a person that has interest and expertise in the area that you want to do your research on. And therefore, you will then be able to contact that prof and say, here is my research outline. Can I ask that you have a look at it and indicate whether I can whether you will supervise me. So that is an important part. That supervisor will provide you with a departmental letter to say that you may apply, and you upload that as part as your online application. Supporting documents. Please have separate digital copies available of each document. Do not put them all in a folder and upload it. They have to be, if you indicate you're uploading an academic record, please upload only your academic record. Very important, especially our international students. Include your institution's grading scale. If they use GPAs, we need to know a 3.2 means that it's between this and this percentage. So please make sure, and that's normally at the back of your academic record. So ensure that you also add that to your academic record. Your identity document or a valid passport document or your birth certificate. You will be registered on the names in your identity document or your passport. Very important, these names have to be the same as on your academic records. If you are a married woman and you have now a different surname, you also have to provide us with your marriage certificate or divorce decree, depending on your situation. You upload your research outline, if that is applicable, your SAQA certificate of evaluation, or proof that you've applied at SAQA. Again, the departmental questionnaire, wherever that is possible or required. The same with a departmental letter if you applied at CSET, a CV to indicate, and it doesn't need to be one that you will submit for a job interview. This is really about your expertise and your experience in the field that you are studying in. Then we look at, if you apply in the Department of Social Work, you have to submit proof of registration that you are a social worker. And then if you're applying for the PhD in consulting psychology, you have to provide us with proof of your registration as a psychologist. When you are on the upload page, you will see that the compulsory documents for that qualification will be indicated in red on that upload page. The only one that will not be in red would be the SAQA document, because that is only applicable to our international students. The application process, we see so many students not completing the complete process. They go to step 1, that's apply for a student number, you get a letter, and you have to pay the non-refundable application fee. We see many students that come in April, May and say, but I've applied and I haven't heard from you. When we check, the student only applied for step 1. It is a step 1, step 2, step 3 process. Step 1, you apply for your student number. If you don't have a UNISA student number, you pay your non-refundable application fee. You go back, you apply for admission. We've provided you on the website with a podcast that takes you through the whole online application. So go through it, have a look at it, and it will just be smooth for you when you apply. Step 3 would be to upload your supporting documents. Have them ready on your desktop so that you can just upload them. Important, communication will come to your email address. When you apply for a student number, you will get an email. When you apply for admission, you get an email. And when you upload your supporting documents, you will see a screenshot that tells you that your documents have been uploaded successfully. Very, very important to also check your emails frequently. As I've said before, we also from this year have introduced a way for you to track your application. On the frame, you will go to application approval and track your application, and you will then use the prompts to go to the UNISA website, indicate your student number, and it will then display to you what the qualifications are that you applied for, and also indicate whether it's been referred, whether it's in progress, whether there are documents outstanding. So please make sure that you do that. Very important. If you made an online application and you go back in and go and do another application, the first one will be overridden. It's very important to take note for a master's and doctor's qualification. You can only apply for one master's or doctoral qualification. You can, however, if you want to apply for an undergrad or an honors or postgrad diploma and a master's and doctor's, that can work, but not for two masters or a master's and a doctoral qualification. Please take note of that. So the moment that you go back in, you are actually withdrawing the previous application and a new application is then submitted. What happens with your application once you've applied? If there are any documents outstanding, if you went in and you started uploading and say, oh, I forgot to add my SAQA certificate, for example, you have 10 days to go back in and upload that document. The application on the frame, you will see there's upload supporting documents. You will click there. It will take you directly to where you can go and do your upload. It's really a very easy way to do it. If your application is complete, the postgrad administration section, those that are working on that mnd@unisa.ac.za box, they will also check your application. They will check that all the documents are there, that you met the admission requirements, that if everything is in order, they will refer your application to the academic department. Note that you will again receive an email to confirm that. Very, very important. Please don't get discouraged or stressed if by the end of the year of 2024 you have not received any communication. Most selections take place in January and February of 2025. And in March, you will receive your outcome. Once a decision has been taken, you will be immediately informed that you have been accepted. If your application is not approved, UNISA will provide you with the reason for that. Whether it was that you did not upload documents after you've been requested, whether you did not meet the admission requirements, please have a look at what it says, why it has not been. If you are declined because you have not submitted the correct documents, you can go back, reapply, and then upload all the documents that's necessary if the application period is still open. If your application is approved, we will provide you with the name and the contact details of your supervisor or the contact person in the department. Please take note that only once you are registered may you contact your supervisor or the contact person in that department. Unfortunately, they're not allowed to supervise you until you are officially registered for the qualification. Also important, if you were previously registered at UNISA, all communication from UNISA on your application, whether there are documents outstanding, whether we confirm that documents have been received, will go to your MyLife email address. It won't be sent to your Gmail address, colleagues. It will go to your MyLife email address. If you are new to UNISA and you applied with your Gmail or Yahoo email address, we will communicate with you only on that specific Gmail address. It does happen that your email address change. Please inform us via mnd@unisa.ac.za. We will change it, and then you will receive the email to the updated email address. Please check your emails regularly. Go to the tracking regularly. Check what's there. Go and check. If you see but it's referred, go and check whether you've received the communication that it's been referred to the academic department. You are welcome. If it didn't come through, please let us know that we can investigate why you have not received the email. If your admission has been approved, what will you have to do? Registrations will open on the 6th of January to the 31st of March 2025. Again, we provide you with a podcast that will take you through the online registration process to make it easy. You will have to pay your fees in 3 installments. When we receive the first installment, your registration will be updated. When you make your payment, please make sure that you use the correct reference. If I can tell you how many times it happens that students just put their name and they pay money into the account. Colleagues, we have over 380,000 students. If everybody did that, can you imagine? That's why it's so important that you use the correct reference. There is your student number, 1 space, and then there's a reference when you pay your application fee. There's a different reference when you pay your study fees. Very, very important. Once you've made your payment, you can send it to this susdepid@unisa.ac.za email address, so in order that they can search for it if it doesn't come through. Again, our international students, if you go to the banking details web page, you will see that we have Flywire available for you. It's a much cheaper option than doing an EFT or a transfer, so please make use of that functionality that we've created for you. Once you have proof that your registration has been activated, please claim your MyLife email address. If you go to, and how to do that, if you go onto the UNISA page, you have apply, you have register, you have My UNISA. You click on My UNISA, you'll see on the frame, claim my free email address. You click there, use the prompts, and you have access to, you have your email address, and you then have access to your My UNISA. That is the UNISA student portal. Then you can contact your supervisor. Provide them with that admission letter that you got, plus proof of registration. And also take note that you and your supervisor have to meet as soon after you've registered to also then come to the supervisor's agreement that is available on that forms and policy on the frame. You can complete it. Have your discussion with your supervisor to ensure that you have an agreement signed and uploaded onto the M&D dashboard. Your supervisor will assist with accessing the M&D dashboard. That is where you will receive tasks from your supervisor, where you will upload your work, where you will get your feedback. Very important is to go and read the procedures for master's and doctoral degrees. It guides you in every step from application until the day that you complete your studies at UNISA. Also important to note, you have to re-register every year between January and March. Pay your fees until you complete your studies. If you are applying in one of the open qualifications and you are approved in April or May or June, you still have to re-register between January and March of the next academic year. Unfortunately, it does happen that admissions are not approved. It's not the end of the road. Look at the reason that we've provided. I've already mentioned, if you did not do what you were supposed to do and it didn't even go to the department, go and reapply, get your documents in order, wait for the next application period and apply again. If we informed you that you were not admitted, but you must do certain modules for non-degree purposes, then come January, you register for those specific modules. You may apply for RPL if the reason we provided said you do not meet the minimum admission requirement, or you did not meet the 60% requirement, or your SAQA NQF level is not on the correct level. You are welcome to then apply at RPL. Please go and have a look whether you actually qualify to apply for recognition of prior learning. Some colleges have certain age restrictions on that, so please also have a look at that to ensure that you don't have to stop here, how to go forward. Now you are a registered student and now you receive your certificate of evaluation. What do you need to do? Go to the upload page and upload your certificate of evaluation as the SAQA document. If our uploads are closed, and we do unfortunately have to close it for certain times during the year for our maintenance and upgrades, then you can email the SAQA certificate to mnd@unisa.ac.za. Our department will check whether that NQF level is in order. If it is in order, we will confirm with you that everything's in order and we will wish you the best with your studies. If the NQF level is lower than required, we will administratively cancel you, inform you, and we will inform your supervisor, and we will refer you to go to the RPL office to check whether you cannot via RPL be admitted into the program. If that is approved, we will reinstate your registration for the year. Then my last slide is just mentioning bursaries. It is not administered in the postgrad administration department. It is administered at our Department of Finance, but I thought I will include it here. They normally open around October of each year, and I think they close around end of January. Very important to visit the UNISA website, look out for bursaries and loans, and find the information there specifically for masters and doctoral students. And you can only apply for a bursary from your second year of study. It means that you have to have a research proposal module approved before you will qualify for these bursaries. Very important also, if you already receive a bursary from another company, please, you are not liable or not, you cannot apply for these bursaries. And also, if you've applied and you've been successful that year, remember that you need to reapply every year for the bursary. I want to wish you all the best with your application, and we look forward to see your application, being able to refer it and meet up with you at our next VOD or training opportunity that will be provided to our masters and doctoral students. All the best. Bye-bye.
Greetings to our prospective postgraduate student. I am Dr. Tony Nelson Majila, and I am a research training officer in the School of Interdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies in the College of Graduate Studies. So my role in the college includes coordinating research training workshops, including that of postgraduate students as well as supervisors. And today I am going to share with you the research support that is available in the college to ensure that you succeed as a prospective student. We have postgraduate research training program, and this is hosted by the two schools. The postgraduate research training program hosted by the School of Interdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies, as well as the African Academic Student Development Program, hosted by the School of Transdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies. And these are the support interventions for postgraduate students for honors, postgraduate diploma, masters, as well as PhD. These interventions start during the application period. So when you apply, there is a research outline document that you need to populate, which form part of the application process. This is like a mini proposal where you need to outline your research problem, the significance of your research, as well as the methodologies. And there is a lot of support on this process. After you have registered, we support you throughout your proposal phase, as well as the dissertation and the thesis phase. Now, this is part of the scope of what we are offering. We have a dedicated librarian who does training on the databases, as well as reference managers, your RefWorks, and the Mendeley. We also take you through the theories, theoretical framework, and conceptual framework, and show you how they are aligned to your research aims and objectives. We also have literature review, training workshops, the methodologies from your philosophical foundations, population and sampling strategies, data collection tools and techniques, as well as the ethics part. We also have academic writing skills workshop and symposium. And this year we have started to do some workshops on the AI tools to help you with your writing. We also have a dedicated statistician in the College of Graduate Studies. And one of the interventions in that office relates to the questionnaire development, the hypothesis development, and testing. For those who are doing qualitative studies, we help you to develop the codes, code categories, and the themes as part of your data analysis. And as a registered student, you have access to free softwares, SPSS, Amos, and Atlas TI for free. You'll also have access to similarity software at UNISA. We are using Turnitin, and this is integrated into the learning management system, my UNISA, hosted on the Moodle platform. This is a software where you can have similarity reports and indexes and so forth. Now, on the support platforms, we are using online workshops through Microsoft MS Teams. And as a registered student, you get all Office 365 programs. We also do working sessions as well as the workshops. At times, we have face-to-face at the regional office. And for big events, we do host hybrid. We also have close group on Facebook for honors as well as M&D. And for all our workshops, we do record and edit them and host them on our college YouTube channel. And I have provided a link for you to access them. And this is our emails for the honors as well as the M&D where you can contact us. We are wishing you all the best with your application. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mutabatsi Ndurutendo from the Division of Student Funding, but in particular, the Bursary section. So I am going to be telling you about the postgraduate bursaries that we have available. Thank you.
So students, as I've already alluded, that I will be speaking to you today on the M&D bursaries that we have available. So these are funding opportunities actually being administered by the Division of Student Funding. And in this Division of Student Funding, we are actually subdivided into two sections. The first section being the bursary application section. So we deal with the application process to its entirety. So in other words, we receive your application, we vet it, issue you with the outcome, issue you with the contract after the bursary has been approved. We also have the second section, which is the bursaries award section. So this section is not necessarily represented today on the session that we are having, but it actually handles the settlement of registration fees, the refunds, and also the payment of the research allowances. So we are offering two groups of bursaries. The first one being the postgraduate diploma and honors bursary. But today we are not going to be speaking on that one. Today we are speaking on the master's and doctoral bursary. So it's worth noting that we are opening on the 1st of October and we will be closing on the 31st of December in this academic year 2024 for the bursary applications. So I wish that you note these dates and you note them very seriously, because over the years or over the past years, those that are returning beneficiaries of this bursary would know that we used to open on the 1st of November and then we would close on the 31st of January the following academic year. So this time around that has been changed because we actually realized that when we open in the current academic year and then close on the coming academic year, it actually delays the entire vetting process as well as the awarding. So for us to actually mitigate that, we decided that we need to open the application portal towards the end of the year and enable the students to apply so that by January the following academic year, we can fast track the vetting processes and issue the outcomes on time and also award timelessly. So that you also don't get inconvenienced and your registration fees can be settled in time. You can also get your research allowances in time. And if you had not been approved for the bursary, then you can also sort out an alternative means of funding whilst time still permits. So it's also important that the students need to know that they should be temporarily registered in the academic year 2025 for the registration to be activated once the bursary application has been a success. So what we meant by that is that you need to ensure that you have activated your temporary registration by the beginning of the academic year 2025, because even if you have been granted the bursary, but if there's no temporary registration, we are not going to assist you with this funding because you will not even be registered. So the issue of temporary registration, it's your prerogative, it's your responsibility as a student. So you need to make sure that in the beginning of the year, you are temporarily registered, because we can only activate your registration when you have done the temporary registration. And the university or the bursary department does not do the temporary registration on behalf of the students. That becomes your prerogative, and it's also a sign of commitment to say you intend to register. So there are students who have missed out on these funding opportunities simply because they would not have done the temporary registration. And as a result, we would not be able to activate their registration and settle the registration fee, even when they have been approved for the bursary. So it's very much important that you do your temporary registration immediately in January, beginning of the academic year. Then who can apply? That is the student. That is the question that we are usually confronted with. So all UNISA, South African and international masters or doctoral students can apply for this bursary, but we give preference to South African students using an 80-20 percentile ratio. Masters by coursework students who have passed 2 coursework modules by the 31st December 2024, they can apply for this bursary. We also encourage masters and doctoral research students who have completed their research proposal phase by the 31st of December. So you need to also note that by the 31st of December, your research proposal module results have been captured on the system. So you need to liaison with your supervisor, and the supervisor would then liaison with the college to get that information updated on the system, because it happens sometimes that the student or students would have passed the research proposal, but those proposal results have not been captured on the system. And we vet the applications solely based on the information or the data which is provided on the system. So even if you had passed your research proposal a module, but the results have not been captured on the system, when we vet the application, simply because we depend on the system to tell us what we have done and what we have not done, you are going to be rejected for the bursary, because we will take it that you don't have the research proposal that we are looking for, which is a prerequisite for you to actually get this bursary. Returning students, returning masters and doctoral bursary holders or beneficiaries that are continuing with their research studies in the previously funded or registered NQF level 9 and 10 qualification, subject to academic performance and bursary guidelines, terms and conditions. So in other words, if you were funded the previous year or the previous years by this bursary and you are still well within the funding bracket, you can still apply for this bursary. And we will vet your application. Your application will be subjected to the vetting process that all the applications will be subjected to, and then the outcome will be determined, and then you will be issued with an outcome, whether the outcome is favorable or not. Who cannot apply? So UNISA permanent staff members are not permitted to apply. The first year masters and doctoral students. In other words, if you are applying, or if you will be coming to the qualification, whether masters or doctoral qualification, for the first time next year, it would mean that you don't have the proposal module, and it would, if your qualification is by coursework, it would mean that you would not have passed 2 coursework modules. So you are not eligible for this bursary. So you should not apply. Graduate School of Business Leadership students that are registered for Masters of Business Administration and Masters of Business Leadership. Students registered for special programs, including certificates and non-degree purposes programs. Students who already hold postgraduate degree at the same or higher NQF level to the qualification registered for are not eligible for this bursary. So maybe I need to emphasize on this particular point. What we mean by this is that if you are holding a postgraduate degree, even if it's from within UNISA or from a different institution of higher learning, you are not eligible for this bursary. In other words, to put it in simpler terms, if you are applying for this bursary so that it can fund you for your master's degree, and you already have another master's degree, say for argument's sake, from University of Pretoria or from University of Johannesburg, you are not eligible for this bursary. A student with the first year registration of their doctoral degree, a student with the first year registration of their doctoral degree 6 years or more. In other words, when you apply for this degree, you need to ensure that when you calculate from the first year you registered for this doctoral qualification and up to 2025, that is, it's not 6 years or more, because it would mean that you would have overstayed the duration of the bursary, because we also look at the relevance of your research topic. So it's very much important that you need to stick to the timelines that have been put in place in terms of completing your qualification. Students with first year registration of their master's degree that are 4 years or more. So with the master's degree, you need to make sure that reading between the first year you registered for your qualification and 2025, that would not be 4 years and more, because as I've already alluded on the prior point, that we also look at the relevance of the topic that you presented, particularly on the research on the proposal phase. So it's very much important that you stick to the timelines which have been put in place in terms of completing your qualification. What does the bursary cover? The bursary covers tuition fees and research essential for the master's degree by research and experimental research allowance we limit it to 55,000 over the first 3 consecutive years. Master's degree by coursework allowance limited to 25,000 over the first 2 consecutive years of funding. So with doctoral degree by research allowance, it's limited to 80,000 over the first 4 consecutive years of funding. So with doctoral degree by experimental research allowance limited to 120,000 over the first 4 consecutive years of funding. First year and returning or returning awarded masters and doctoral beneficiaries in their 3rd, 4th, and 5th year of study are only eligible to research allowance, subject to receipt of ethical clearance certificate confirmed by the college. So in other words, what we are saying here is that for you to get or to qualify for the research allowance, we need to know that your ethical clearance has been approved. And you also need to make sure through your supervisor that that ethical clearance has been updated on the system. As I've already alluded to the fact that we vet the applications solely based on the information or the data that has been provided on the system. So even if you have passed the ethical clearance, but that information has not been updated on the system, you are only going to receive the registration fee and not the research allowance, even if you were approved for funding. So it's very much important that everything that you pass or you complete has to be updated on the system, because we depend on the system. We don't depend on the word of mouth from you as the student or from your supervisor. We depend on the information that has been captured on the system. So if you don't have the ethical clearance, even if your qualification it's a research based qualification, you're not going to get the research allowance. So you need to make sure that the ethical clearance has been captured on the system. So you can liaison with your supervisor to get that done timelessly. So that information has to be captured at the time when we vet the application. That information should have already been captured on the system. So it's important that the applications are only submitted via online application portal. So in other words, we are not going to be sending out any application forms to the students, because we usually receive emails from students asking us for the application forms. We don't have that because as UNISA, we are moving entirely to the application, to the online way of doing things, including the applications. So we are an order institution. So we are trying to move away from the manual ways of doing things. So no application form will be sent to any student because we don't even have it. So incomplete applications are not going to be accepted. Hand-delivered applications will not be accepted or considered because they are not even there to begin with. So you need to make sure that you pay attention to the opening period of the applications and apply well in time. UNISA gives no guarantee that the bursary will be awarded to all eligible students, as the bursary is subject to the availability of funds. So what we mean by this is that if you may actually be approved for the bursary, your supervisor may approve you for the funding, maybe for tuition fee and both the research allowance, and you may have passed the proposal module, you may have the ethical clearance captured on the system. But that does not guarantee that you are going to receive the funding, because funding will only be subjected to the availability of funds. So we can only assist you with this bursary when money is available. So sometimes, due to the size of the colleges, we usually fund only a certain number of students, and then the others we can't because funds would have depleted. And in as much as we would have loved to fund all the students that are qualifying, but we find that because of the depletion of funds, there is nothing much that can be done. So this is just to make you aware that if it happens that we run out of funds and you had not been funded for that academic year, you need to understand that you were not left out for any reason. It was just because the funds have depleted because we are working with a limited budget. If you have been a beneficiary for the full bursary year, student will not be funded for an additional year whatsoever. If student fails to comply with any of the conditions of the bursary, and or terminates their studies, their UNISA postgraduate bursary will be cancelled, and the current year's UNISA postgraduate bursary amount awarded will be charged to the student account, which will be handed over to the UNISA's legal and finance department to effect the collection process. So I think on this point, I need to re-emphasize the importance of reading the terms and guidelines for this bursary, because we have students that after we had issued the outcomes to them to say you have been approved for this bursary, the student would just relax, and they would be under the impression that the financing part is just going to be automated. So what happens is that after you have submitted your application, your bursary application rather, the application section of the within the DSF will vet your application. After the vetting process has been completed, and we get to know that you are qualifying, looking at all the things that would have been put in place to assess your application, we are going to issue you with an outcome whereby we will be congratulating you and telling you that you have been approved for funding. Then the next step that comes after that is the allocation of funds. So we allocate the funds from our end systematically. So then what we do, we issue you with the bursary contract. So that bursary contract will incorporate the amount that has been awarded to you as the student in terms of the registration fee and also the research allowance, should you have qualified for the research allowance. If you were only awarded the registration fee, the SOP contract will only incorporate the amount speaking to the registration fee for that current particular academic year. Then we will issue you with that contract, and we will also indicate as to when you are to return back the contract to us and how you are to return it to us. So you will receive this email from the funding officer, the bursary funding officer that is responsible for your own college, because we have got 4 funding officers that are responsible for 2 colleges, each of them. So it's very much important that you read the emails that they send to you, and also adhere to the instructions that would have been communicated on those emails. You have to read and understand the content of the email so that you don't make mistakes. And you also need to make sure that you sign and you return that contract timelessly, so that we can activate the registration. In a case whereby you have paid for your registration fee, then we can also reimburse you of that monies if you have been approved for the research allowance, so that we can also release the research allowance. But if you have been approved for the bursary, we issue you with the contract. You don't return the contract to us, or you send the contract to a wrong email. Obviously, we are not going to be able to settle your registration fee or process your refund or assist you with the research allowance. So many times the bursary application officers would use the CGS centralized email to issue out contract to you as the student, but on the body of that email they would have incorporated their personal email address in which you are to respond on when you send your bursary contract. So many times the students would not read the content of the email. They would just populate the contract and then forward it or respond to that very same centralized email whereby they received their contract from. And if that happens, and when that happens, then that funding officer is not going to be able to receive your bursary contract, because on that particular platform we receive countless numbers of queries. So by the time when that bursary officer come across your contract, it's already towards the end of the year or it's in another year. So it's very much important that when you receive the email, even when it's coming from that centralized inbox, you need to make sure that you read the content and read it to understand and then respond accordingly, so that you don't miss anything. It's very much important. Maybe in terms of the application, I need to re-emphasize the importance of noting down the application dates, because as I've already alluded that over the years we would usually open on the 1st of November and then close off on the 31st of December with the possibility of extensions on some instances. But this time around we are strictly closing in December on the 31st. So you need to make sure that you note these dates down. It's very much important, because should you miss the dates and the application period lapses, the application portal is going to automatically close off and you will not be able to submit your application. So documented there is just how you apply for this funding. There is quite a number of steps that have been put forward there, but it's quite easy. When the application period opens, you just go to our official UNISA's website, and then you go to Masters and Doctoral Bursaries. You click there, and then you will be directed to the steps in which you are to submit your application. So here is one thing that I would love the students to note. When you are in this particular platform, after you have processed your application, at the end of these steps, there are two things which will be provided. When you have populated all the information which would have been required, you have got the option to save the application as well as the option to submit the application. So many times students make a mistake of saving the application. And if you save the application, it actually means that the system will interpret that action as you saying that I'm not done with inputting the information that is required here. So I will come back later to the portal to add more information. So that application is not going to go through. But if you want the application to go through, you need to click submit the application. When you submit the application, what's going to happen is that the system is going to send you an automated response communicating the success of your application. So what I usually advise the students to do is that immediately when you receive that automated response, which will be saying, congratulations, your application has been successfully submitted, you should take a screenshot or take a picture of that message and keep it with you, so that when you inquire on your bursary application outcome, you would need or you would be required to also embed that a screenshot or that picture, which will actually serve as a proof that indeed you applied for the bursary. That's very important. You may contact us on cgspgb@unisa.ac.za. So the inquiries which are to be channeled to this email address are all inquiries that are in relation to the UNISA's postgraduate bursary processes. Maybe you want to know about you want to just find out whether your application has been received. Maybe you want to find out as to when the outcomes will be communicated. Maybe you want to find out as to when your research allowance is going to be paid, or your refunding, when are you going to get your refund and all that. So you can channel those kind of queries to this particular email address that has been provided. The approval of the bursary applications, I've already touched on that, and also inquiring on the receipt and also processing of your contracts. Maybe you have submitted your contract, you just want to confirm if it was received, because sometimes maybe you send your contract and days are going by, you don't see anything. You are receiving rather communication from UNISA which says that you are owing, or you want to find out when your registration will be finalized and all that, because for that to happen, the bursary needs to settle your registration should you have been awarded the bursary. So this is where you send your queries to, and we will gladly respond to them timelessly. Thank you.